Okay, technical difficulties, but we got it. We got it.
Here we are, man. Here we are.
Woo!
Fashionably late.
Technology is a thing. Anyway, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Doing well.
That's
Enjoying
nice.
a coffee, ready for our webinar.
Yes,
Do we already have folks in here waiting?
we do have some folks in
Okay.
here. What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a good day. It is painfully hot here in Austin. Every day it's like 110, 115.
That's hot.
But it's not as hot as what's going on inside the Badger Den. Let's roll right into it, Michael, shall we?
Let's do it. Yeah.
I have I got a little creative with the name today. I hope you like it. It's called Cohort Commander. Cohort Commander. We got a Badger over here, Commander. And what I think is so great when it comes to Amazon PPC, to think in groups of data makes a lot of sense. So here's what I think. There's a paradox of knowledge. The more you learn, the more stuff there is to do. I'm guilty of this. We've got over 250 episodes of the PPC Den podcast, world renowned, most popular Amazon PPC podcast,
Number one rated
in the universe. And I think that when you have so many topics, so many nooks and crannies of things to optimize, the list gets so long. And it can leave people with this feeling of like, how am I going to actually take action and actually get things done in my campaigns? The list gets longer and longer. However, most PPC knowledge boils down to increasing or decreasing bids, promote or negate a search term, pause or enable something, increase or decrease budgets. Most PPC knowledge boils down to that. It's like, do you want more of this or do you want less of it? Do you want to increase the bids or do you want to decrease the bids? So in 2022, 2021, in the past, my favorite way to sort of get this bulk knowledge, to like take action quickly, to basically like do these things, increase, decrease bids, promote or negate a search term, pause or enable. My favorite way to do those things was going to be downloading a report, opening it up in Excel, working with a spreadsheet. And I think the nail's in the coffin. I think this is an out of date approach now. And I'm really proud because this really was my mission in starting Ad Badger for a long time, which was how do we build something that's going to be faster, more efficient, smoother than this process of like going into Amazon, downloading the report, playing with a spreadsheet, finagling with it, potentially uploading it back. Really slow process. Spreadsheets have a lot of downsides. Number one, you can only get 60 days of data at a time. And it can be difficult to sort of do what you want to do. It could be a little slow or cumbersome. It's very easy to get lost where you're creating lots and lots of spreadsheets. And it's really just another thing to do. And I think that the most successful Badgers are able to like know exactly what they need to do, go and get it done extremely quickly. So sort of like think in cohorts, like find the data that you want to find super quickly and then go and take action on it. So I sort of call this mindset cohort commander, thinking of your data in groups of data. So when you get this right, there's really no more surprises. So imagine an account that you never open it up and you say, oh, wow, I spent $300 without an order on this keyword. It happens all the time. I'll open up an account and I see, sort by spend, no orders. And there's some search terms that have got like $100 without an order, keywords that have got $300 without an order. Why does this keyword have an 800% ACoS? Or it's been a month since I launched this keyword, and then you forgot to update the bid, so the keyword has 0 clicks. It's like all these different scenarios where you just like open up your account and you're like, oh, wow, I had no idea that was going on. And it's because you missed that cohort. It also makes it really easy to hit your goals. So like when you know where to go and what to do, you're able to pull on the levers at the right time to like give yourself the right nudges, the right bids to the right keywords. So it just makes life really simple. And of course, really speeds up your workflow. We're going to be seeing in the course of this webinar a workflow that used to take hours, right? If you wanted to do something like show me all of my keywords with a high ACOS in a certain portfolio that contain a certain word for a certain product, it would take a very long time. And we're going to be going over how to find all that data really, really fast, sort of changing up your workflow. So in order to be a cohort commander, it really does take a couple steps, 3 steps. Think of what cohort you're looking for. So like what type of data are you looking for? Apply a filter and then take bulk actions. So what even is a cohort? It's just words to describe sets of data. So there's generally 2 kinds of cohorts. Do you want more of that traffic or less of that traffic? It's fairly straightforward. With PPC, it's all about shining a spotlight on what works well and then turning down what doesn't work well. So here's a really popular sort of starting set in case you're unfamiliar with this concept. It's really straightforward. And think of it like this. This is generally the fat in an account, where you go and you look at your account and you're like, I want less of all this stuff. High clicks, no orders, high ACOS or low ROAS, high impressions, no clicks. In every single account that hasn't been maintained, this portion, this cohort of data is gigantic. I've seen accounts where high clicks, no orders is taking up 30% of the budget, or high ACOS is making up 25% of the budget, or high impressions, no clicks is making up for 40% of the impressions. So this is sort of like the fat generally of an account. And we're going to talk about how to find this really, really quick inside AdBadger. Now you might be wondering, high clicks, no order, that is a descriptive word to describe data. So like, what are we actually looking for when we say high clicks, no orders? And it really does depend on your industry. And we're going to go over how to find this really simply. But, someone who sells screws, for example, you might not know this, Michael Bonanno, but advertising for like part numbers is one of the most challenging things to do in PPC, where it's like, imagine you sell like wood screws and aluminum screws and screws that are flathead and screws that are Phillips head and screws that go into metal or wood or the wall. Like one word describes hundreds of your products, and it can be really frustrating. And you end up with generally low conversion rates, but that's normal for the industry. Did you ever know that?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, right? So there's stuff that's super vague, stuff that's super specific.
Yeah. Generally, the more specific you can get, the higher the industry's conversion rate. So if someone types in like vitamin C supplement, you know exactly what they want. If someone types in vitamin C capsules or gummy, you know exactly what they want, as opposed to the more general type products. So it really just vary from industry to industry. So like, what is trimming the fat for different industries and different campaigns? So I generally like to think about how many clicks per order do you get and how much spend per order do you get? And then we could begin to start trimming basically at 3 times your average. So what is your average clicks per order? What is your average spend per order? So there's a really fast way to see this inside AdBadger. So inside AdBadger, when you first log in, you get dropped off in the dashboard. And here's the sample account. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to get my clicks per order. So my clicks here is 2393 over 412. So that's 5.8. That's 5.8 clicks per order. I multiply 5.8 by 3. I got 17. So I'm basically looking at 17 clicks per order. It's time to trim it. A little hack around that is like whatever your conversion rate is, you can generally take that many clicks per order. It's not the same math, but it is usually close. So in this case, clicks per order 17. So I know when I go look at my keywords, what's got over 17 clicks, no order, I know where to go take action. You can do the exact same thing with spend per order. So here we have $5,000 worth of spend and 400 orders. So 5136 over 412, and I get 12.4. So anything over 37 would be considered high, like things that I might want to pause or reconsider. Now, the question is, how do you go into your account and find these things very quickly, very reliably? We're really featuring Ad Manager today. After I finish up my slides here, we're actually going to open up Ad Badger and show people how quickly and fast you can jump in and basically see any kind of cohort of information you want, and talk about some different actions and ways to interact with this. So the
Quick
next,
question, Mike. Quick question.
oh yeah,
Out of all of the campaign managers that you meet, like what percentage are aware of the formulas that you just brought up, and specific to the accounts and campaigns that they work on? How many of them know, you know, what they should be targeting?
yeah, I if I were just to guess, I'd
Yeah,
probably say the top 20%, like do this extra step. I would say a lot of people don't know what should be like high or low for their account, like high
yeah.
performing or low performing for their account. So that's like one group of people. And then another group of people they know that there should be something. Maybe they're following something that they just heard somewhere, like, oh, 20 clicks, no orders. That's what I'm considering high.
Just an arbitrary number,
Right. And
black and white. Here's
right.
people do that with like ACOS. I think they do it less now, but it used to be, right, like
Yes.
20 below 20% ACOS. And
Yeah. It's easy. It would have been easier on this slide if I just said $20 per order and
yeah,
just set it for everyone. But I think what's so good about the way that we operate here at App Badger is, like, you're right. Like if you go back to this screen, it's like, this is very normal. So like somebody who sells screws or, parts or something like that, their conversion rate is going to be way different than someone who sells supplements. So you cannot possibly give this person the exact same number to operate with.
yeah.
So the question becomes, like, just take this extra step and sort of whatever your average is for your account, it's 3 times the average typically, is when you starting to get into the danger zone.
And so one thing that I'd like to highlight for the webinar here, and for people tuning in, listening, if they're already clients of ours and they're not taking advantage of the one-on-one calls, like those are things that you and the other campaign managers
Yeah.
here could go in and just quickly discuss and have them go and work on themselves. Because that's the reality, is like a lot of people look at software and they're just like, oh, it's going to do all this for you. But it's like, sometimes you need to go in, understand what you need to be looking for. And that's what we do here as well, is like offer that one-on-one education.
Big time.
Huge. If only the top 20% of people are doing that stuff,
Yeah.
a lot of people are missing out. So,
And I think that's one of the most unique parts about the Ad Badger software, is that it doesn't force people into just like a cookie cutter mode. It really does try to consider like what is good and bad for this particular marketplace, which I really, really like. So when we talk about this stuff, we're going to be going through, and basically you get to build up your own cohorts through saved filters, which is what the big topic of this call is. Like figuring out what your high and low is, and then saving that filter, and then being able to take super quick action on that, is something that is so valuable. So if you think of the way that people generally engage with their accounts, it's like, you're clicking campaign by campaign, and you're seeing groups of data that way. But really what you want to do is like see your entire account, and then like your high clicks, no orders cohort. It doesn't matter what campaign or what products that for. You want to treat that generally the same. Moving on to high ACOS, you don't want to be bucketed into just looking at this one campaign at a time. So we're going to be sort of running the gamut of like beginner to advanced cohorts through the course of this call. So once you think of that, you can then jump into Ad Manager. And every time I get on the phone with someone and we walk through Ad Manager, I always show them something new where they say, oh, wow, I didn't know that you could do that. I just had somebody last week who was like, oh, let me download a spreadsheet, then work with it. And I was like, no, actually, you can just like do that right inside Ad Manager. So I want to really hone in on Ad Manager and how you can use it to find any group of data you possibly want. So just some real quick terminology here before we actually get going. Filters. We spent a lot of time developing filters. We're going to look at filters, basically find anything you want, any cohort of data. So whatever you consider, and we're going to be going through lots and lots of iterations. And I really do think it changes the way that people will operate with their PPC campaigns. Because if you are using Amazon's interface, maybe you're downloading a spreadsheet of your campaigns. Maybe you're downloading a spreadsheet of your keywords. You're fixed into a certain way of thinking about your campaigns, and this really will change it. Furthermore, you can also do bulk actions. So whatever you want to do. So the classic one is like, I want to trim the fat. I want to find high clicks, no orders. And you can just go in and say, what's my cohort? High clicks, no orders. What's my filter? Over 37 clicks, no orders. And then take an action. Pause, change bid, change max bid, whatever you want. So let's jump into workflow one. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be going through 4 sample workflows. And then I'm going to actually like log into AdBadger and begin to show people some more intermediate and advanced cohorts that you can play with. So workflow one, this is the classic one, high clicks, no orders. And this is especially true for people that want to do manual bid optimization. They want to, AdBadger's algorithm does a lot of this for you. But for now, this is really just like how to use filters to find things super fast and then how to take bulk action really quick. So if you like to do manual optimization, this is going to be really nice for you. So workflow one, high clicks, no orders. Let's decrease those bids. So again, Ad Manager, view all keywords. We actually just added this dropdown where instead of clicking on Ad Manager, landing in all campaigns, and then going to view all keywords, we made it so that you can just access anywhere you want to see really, really fast. So it's just saved you a click. So Ad Manager, click the drop down for all keywords. Once you do that, this filter button really unlocks a lot of this cohort for you. So you click that filter button and you see this. And this is a pretty simple looking filter box, but it does a ton of stuff. And it continues to do more. We're constantly adding to this. So when you click the columns, for now, for this workflow one, it's just clicks over. We have the mathematical operations, clicks over whatever your high click number was. So remember in the earlier slides, we determined that this account, it normally gets an order at about 5 clicks per order. So we're just going to multiply that by 3. And we land at 17. So that was 5.8 if you remember. So 17 clicks, add another filter, orders equals 0. So now you can see on demand, over 17 clicks, no orders, and just boom, hit it. Now, before you hit apply filter, you want to click this magical, wonderful green button to save this filter. That means the next time you come here, you will just be able to click on save filters and just instantly apply that. And you call it exactly what you want to call it. High clicks, no orders. You could have called it clicks over 17, orders equals 0. Now, if you really want to make this great, actually put the action that you want to do in the filter name. So high clicks, no orders, decrease bid 10%. That way, if you're working with someone else on your team or it's a week from now and you forgot to do this and you forgot, like, what do I do with this stuff? This is the workflow. Find your high clicks, no orders, and decrease these bids 10%. And you can do that once a week and your account will be fairly well optimized for all your high clicks, no order stuff. So you can run this, save that filter. The next time you do it, it'll be sitting right there for you. So when you log in a week, it'll be ready for you. Now, what's really cool about this is you can just go down, and if you have a whole bunch of these, you can view 500 at a time. So you can view 500 of these, and hopefully you don't have 500 high click, no order keywords. But if you did, you'd be able to take action on these 500 at a time. Combining the filters with this checkbox. I love this checkbox. You click this checkbox and it selects all, 500, and then it allows you to take bulk actions. I can change the bid here on 500 keywords incredibly, incredibly fast. And it's great. It opens up a thing where I can just say percentage decrease these 500 keywords, decrease the bids by 10%. Boom. I get a really nice recap confirmation screen letting me know that I've decreased bids. across the board for 25, 100, 500 keywords, however many there are. So this is an amazing workflow. When you have that filter saved, you can just set a reminder for yourself. Log in once a week, go in, apply the saved filter, decrease the bids 10%. Boom. You've just done an hour of optimization work in less than 30 seconds. So this is one of the most common things that if you're manually optimizing your bids, you should be doing on a weekly basis. This is workflow 1. This is pretty simple. Let's jump right over to workflow 2, high ACoS keywords. Let's decrease these bids. So the exact same thing, except now instead of high clicks, no orders, this is high ACoS keywords. And how do we determine what a high ACoS word is? Well, it's just going to be 3 times your average. So if you just log into AdBadger, any screen will tell you whether you're view all campaigns or you're in the dashboard. Look at that summary row. In this case, they have a 15% ACoS. So I know that 15, 30, 45, anything over than 45, I'm probably going to want to decrease those bids. Just nudge them down 5%. So again, same thing, run the filter, ACoS over 45, decrease the bids 5%, save that filter so that next time you get here, it'll just be sitting there waiting for you in saved filters. Saved filter is one of the most powerful features in AdBadger, I think. Boom. Bulk change the bids, decrease 5%. Now, this is a really good question. What if you do that and you only see like one keyword? This is where AdBadger's like long date history applies. You can do year to date. You can do last 60 days. I would say 30 days is the most common when you're making manual adjustments. For those of you who are doing AdBadger's automated bidding, we actually look at multiple timeframes to determine whether or not a keyword is strong or weak. But yes, you can play with these date ranges and it'll update the filters down below. So that's the second workflow. Workflow 3 is a really good one. High impressions, low clicks. Consider pausing these. Basically what this tells you is like you're serving this ad a lot, but for whatever reason, people aren't clicking on it. So you can consider pausing it for now, or you can consider maybe playing with your product image or your product title or pricing in order to get a better click-through rate. But basically, you don't want to send a signal to Amazon that you're serving ads and keywords that don't get clicks. So again, we're going to be doing the exact same thing. What is your normal impressions per click? In this case, it is 216 impressions per click. I just did that by impressions divided by clicks. And you get 216 per impressions. So guess what we do? We do the exact same thing. We multiply 216 by 3, and we get our 3x trimming the fat range. Yeah, so impressions over 648, clicks equals 0. Now, this is a different kind of action. If you wanted to pause those keywords, you can do that in bulk here as well. So we've added a lot of bulk actions inside Ad Manager. Let's do one more workflow before we go into AdBadger and begin to see lots and lots of more workflows. We're going to give you a waterfall of workflows. This one's a different one. This is workflow 4, search terms with high clicks, no orders. Let's add these as negatives. So this time we're talking about search terms. We're talking about things with a lot of clicks, and we're talking about things with no orders. And then we can take the bulk action to add these things as negatives. So again, I go to my search terms table. I'm applying this filter and save the filter, of course. Save the filter so that next time you're here, you can quickly find this. And when you do that, you have some bulk buttons. You can promote to keywords, promote to targets, or block the search terms. Just recapping what these words mean. Promote to keywords, it means take the search term and turn it into a keyword. Or you can take this search term, turn it into a product target. So you can actually select keywords or targets, and then AdBadger will just put it in the right spot. And then you can, of course, block the search term. Generally recommend that you add negatives as negative exact. And then you can just simply select where you want to send them and then block them right from AdBadger. So again, like think of what this unlocks where you're creating like workflow 1, log in once a week, decrease your bids. Workflow 2, find those high ACoS keywords, decrease your bids. Workflow 3, find those high impression, no click keywords, potentially pause them. Workflow 4, go and find your high click, no order search terms, add them as a negative exact. So already we're doing, 2-3 hours of work in under 5 minutes. And it allows you to sort of fine tune yourself. So as you go in there and you're like, maybe I want to change the threshold up or down a little bit. Maybe I want to give this one more time. You get to make all those decisions as you go through this. So that's just a little bit. I'm actually going to go do a live demo now. So let's go to the Google Doc, shall we?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's actually log in to AdBadger and really start seeing things.
Mike,
So
we used to have some pre-built save filters in there. Is that not in the tool anymore? And just maybe touch on that, because it's so personal to each account and each person should be setting up their own.
yeah, so what I would say is we would be more than happy, like during your onboarding call, when you're in here, going to resources and book a call, we'd be more than happy to, if you're stumped about where to set up, at least for those 4 workflows, which I think people should pay attention to at least once a week, we'd be more than happy to jump on the phone and help you set up those filters. Or you can even write in and we can help you set up those filters over chat. So I started building a list here of pretty awesome things you can do with Ad Manager. I sort of realized that just seeing me use Ad Manager can be pretty awesome. So let's actually go in here and I'm going to start a view all campaigns. So let's just run through these first 4 workflows. View high click keywords, view high ACOS keywords, view all high impressions, low clicks, view all search terms with high clicks. So these are the 4 that we just looked at, right? We just looked at these 4. Now let's get really creative and start digging around and show people some things that maybe you didn't know that you can do. So let's say you're here and you're looking at and again, I'm in the AdBadger staging account. So some of the data might be, it's basically like a testing account that we can use and to play around with. So one really cool thing that when I set it up, I always like compact, and different people like different views. Some people like the standard view. Some people like the comfortable view. I'm a big fan of seeing as much data as possible, so I'm going compact. And when you're here, if you select one campaign, you have this blue button to view it in dashboard. Not a lot of people know that this button exists, but when you click it, you can go right into the dashboard. So it takes me here, and now that campaign is selected. So that one campaign that I just ticked off is actually here. So I can see where that campaign's performance has changed over time right from here. I can see the performance of search terms. I can see how much I'm spending on search term per order amount. Of course, that was a sponsored product manual, so I only have sponsored product manual. So I really like that feature. Here's another bonus feature. It actually lists the ACOS power ratio for me. Not a lot of people know that this exists, but when you select just one campaign, it'll actually tell you that campaign's ACOS power ratio from here. If you're unfamiliar with what the ACOS power ratio is, ACOS power ratio, this is a fairly intermediate or advanced ratio, but it's basically the ACOS of your entire account, of your entire campaign, versus the ACOS of your keywords that got 1 order or more. I'm just going to plant that here, but you can view that on a per campaign. It's a little advanced metric, but I can see that one campaign now selected, and I can do some cool time comparison. I can get a little bit more analysis here. I can go here and see what the performance was week by week, which is amazing, or month by month or week by week. So again, I'm viewing that specific campaign like this. So imagine a lot of people get caught up with like, what is this campaign doing? Let me view the last 30 days of this campaign. But it's really powerful to be able to view that campaign like over time. How much did I spend each week? What was my ACOS each week? I turned it off over here. I turned it back on over here. So you can see that sort of flow chart. I can export this if I want to. I can do a lot of cool stuff, all from Ad Manager. I started that by going into Ad Manager and saying, show me this campaign in the dashboard. Now, that's pretty cool, but you might not know. You can actually view multiple campaigns the exact same way. So I can select campaign 1, campaign 2, campaign 3, campaign 4, campaign 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can select all these different campaigns and view it in the dashboard. Now, what Ad Badger is doing is it's going and grabbing all that data. Now I've got 9 campaigns selected, and now I can view it in this snapshot where it's like, okay, like how are these 9 campaigns doing? You know, time frame A versus time frame B. Are there more products? Are there more keywords? You know, I can view what's my search term spend by order amount, how much am I spending on 0 orders for those specific campaigns, what's the breakdown of spend for those specific campaigns, and of course what's the breakdown of performance for those specific campaigns. How are we doing for those specific campaigns month by month, you know, January, February, March, so on and so forth. So I love being able to sort of see data in a way that you never did before, which I really, really like.
Mike, real quick on that too, is like, if somebody didn't have Ad Badger, how would they do this? How would they format their data like this? It would just be super cumbersome. They'd have to download it, put it all into sheets, or
how do you, so this specific report right here, where you view a group of campaigns, a random group of campaigns, any group you want, month by month, like how is it doing in this January, February, March? I actually have no idea how you would do this inside Amazon, where you can see like any metric you want over time laid out like this, where you can actually like begin to see for that campaign, for that group of campaigns, how do I do it? I actually don't know, but it's really helpful if you wanted to do reporting. So let's say you wanted to report on this family of campaigns. This makes it really nice. Like, are my efforts paying off over time? You know, am I getting more clicks? Am I getting more orders? Is the ACoS better from month 1 to month 2? There's a lot of people.
Most campaign managers aren't even analyzing to this level. Then
I would say a lot of times you know people look at it like this, where you know you can see how much you spend like on a per day basis here, but like aggregating this to the month, I think is a really neat view. Like this view, that's why we built that view, where it's like, oh, okay, like let me aggregate all this campaign data by month, where it's like, how much do we spend each month broken down like this? This is just a really handy view, because normally people see it like this. They see it like, okay, I spent this much over here, and then like it's going up or down. However, this doesn't aggregate it for the month. That's why this thing exists. Aggregating for the month, I do not believe it doesn't exist in Amazon. But it's such a simple question, right? How much did I spend in January? How much did I spend in February? Most campaign people that I know are like writing it down in a spreadsheet somewhere. Month, like they'll just go and they'll open up January and they'll say, I spent this much in January, I spent this much in February. But this just tells you, so you don't have to do that.
No, that's sick.
Now, of course, like this grouping of campaigns, if you want to do it in a certain portfolio. So when you're looking at your list of campaigns, you can actually say, can I just see the campaigns for a certain portfolio broken out? So if this is our testing account. So these are the names of some of our developers. So I could say, show me all the campaigns in Emma's portfolio. So now I can see all the campaigns in Emma's portfolio, which is really nice. So I can go over here and I can say, okay, how are all the campaigns in that portfolio performing? And you know what? I want to see my monthly analysis of those campaigns. So again, just to be clear, a lot of people interact with their campaigns like this. It's like, okay, what are my campaigns? In this case, the campaigns of a certain portfolio. What are they doing in the month of, the last 30 days or something like that? But you miss out on some information here. And let me go ahead and freeze this, pin that column. So when I scroll over here, I still see what campaign name it is. What a lot of people miss out on is, okay, how is this campaign performance over the last 6 months or over the last 8 months? So this sort of bulk button, view in dashboard, brings in those 29 campaigns. And I can sort of see those 29 campaigns data analysis here. But this view is really nice, where it's like, oh, okay, I can see what those 29 campaigns did over the last 8 months, which is really, really powerful to know. So we're just going down this list of like really cool things that you can do in Ad Badger. View all your campaigns with a specific word in it. So let's say you're selling something and you're selling, I don't know, shoes, whatever it is, you can come in here and just select what campaign. And then we have these operations: contains or does not contain. So if I type in contains apples, I can see all my campaigns related to apples. So you can see it just brought that up. So there's 3 campaigns with the word apples in it. Now I could also do something really neat here. I could say campaign does not contain apples. So now I see every campaign that does not have the word apples in it, making my life really, it's really nice to be able to sort of either say, I only want to view stuff with apples in it, or I want to see stuff without apples in it. And then again, I love this view. If I do campaign does contain apples, I can come over here. I can select that, view in the dashboard, which I really like, and it'll take me over to the dashboard where I have those 3 campaigns selected. Then I can ask myself the question, how did those campaigns do over time? This is a testing account, so it doesn't have any data in it. But imagine you typed in the name of a product here. What's the product that you're looking for? You can type in that ASIN. If the ASIN's in the campaign name, you can see how that ASIN is doing over time, which is really nice. So we're just blasting through this list. View all your campaigns without a target ACOS in it. Here's an advanced one. So let's say you're running Bids by Badger and you wanted to update the target ACOS for those campaigns. You can do that pretty simply here. So imagine, you didn't have this. We had no filter here. And we can just select, in this case, we can select all 300 campaigns. So you can do it in groups of 500. And you can just turn on Bids by Badger. So I can turn on all of this and say, okay, turn on Bids by Badger to a target ACOS of 50%, set the max bid to $8, set the minimum bid to $1. So this is going to update every single campaign, set the target ACOS, set the max bid for every keyword, set the minimum bid for every keyword. So we've just got really, really good with the bulk actions. And also our little forms here are getting smarter and smarter. So you can actually see it says 48 campaigns selected are archived and ineligible for bid optimization. So it leaves the 260 that are not. So I like that. Changing Bids by Badger settings. Here's a really unique one. Change sponsored product bidding strategy for hundreds of campaigns at once. So what's neat about this is, let's say I select all my campaigns. What's a common thing that people need to do? It's like, oh, I want to change from fixed bids to down only, or I want to change from up and down to down only for your sponsored products. Notice I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to do a filter that said, show me only my sponsored products. I'm just selecting all of them, and I have 123 campaigns that are not sponsored product campaigns, and I have 185 that are. So I can see all of those, which is really nice. And I can set all of these to down only or up and down or fixed bids in a single swoop. So we're really thinking here at Ad Badger, what are things that you'd want to do that a high performance marketer would need to take advantage of quickly? And actually a customer requested this, and we're like, okay, we can do that. So you can change your up and down or down only. Again, what if you wanted to assess your performance of this stuff? So what if you wanted to come in here and say, I only want to see my campaign performance for sponsored products. So sponsored products is, so I want to see my sponsored product campaigns. And here I only want to view with a bidding strategy of, I only want to see my down only. How are my down only campaigns performing? So now all of a sudden I can get data for the down only campaigns only. So I can see sort of that summarized data here. Okay, my down only has an ACOS of 22%. And I can compare that against something else. I can compare it against up and down or fixed bids. So I love this sort of level of specificity that I don't know how you can get otherwise. But it really does answer a good question for you. How is my up and down? How are my fixed bids? How's my down only doing? Really like that. We're kind of running out of time. So I want to do some other cool things here. View campaigns. This is a cool one. One of the most common problems with campaign structure is campaigns with too many keywords in it. That's like one of the worst things for campaign structure. So I'm looking at all my campaigns in Ad Manager, and let's say I wanted to just find things with a lot of keywords in it. So one of the filter options that we have is keywords over. So basically, this is literally the amount of keywords. So show me everything with keywords over 25. So how many of my campaigns have keywords with, you know, how many of my campaigns have over 25 keywords? So what we actually do here is we actually list out how many keywords you have, how many ad groups you have, how many targets and ads you have on a per campaign basis. So when we're thinking about campaign structure and you want to know immediately, like, does the campaign structure, is it borked? You probably shouldn't have 103 ad groups and 199 keywords in a sponsor product manual campaign. So it just allows you to find exactly what you need to find really, really fast. So like, is your campaign structure good or bad? This is a really easy filter to go and find that. So we actually keep track of how many ad groups per campaign, how many keywords per campaign, targets per campaign, ads per campaign. You can also see that at the ad group level. So when you're at the ad group level, you also have a sort of similar thing. So just show me my ad groups where I have over 25 keywords in it. So apply that, and then you get to see all of your ad groups where you have over 25 keywords in it. Scroll over here. I have an ad group with 387 keywords, 664. So it allows me to sort of pinpoint exactly what campaigns need to be split.
That's a huge one, right? Because I mean, how often are you still seeing a lot of people that are still making this fatal mistake in their accounts?
It's still the number one issue, for sure.
So
It's
that's huge.
still the
And
number one
then
issue.
and then the next evolution, I think soon inside Ad Visual, you'll be able to take some of those out and throw them in a new
Yeah.
ad group, new campaign.
If you go into just a single campaign and you select one of these bulk actions, you can split this single keyword out at a time, which is really helpful. So you can split out a single keyword at a time. You just select that and you just click, create single keyword campaign, and it'll take that keyword, create a single keyword campaign for you. So I can create a single keyword campaign really fast. And in the future, we're going to be creating, basically migrate keywords. So imagine selecting a couple of these keywords and just clicking like move somewhere else.
Yeah.
So like you'll be able to
Huge.
break up ad groups really easily, which will be really nice.
That's going to be awesome.
So I love that feature. Yeah. So again, I think everyone should have one ad group per campaign. I think if you have multiple ad groups in a campaign, things can get misconfigured. So again, we added that filter here. So I'm looking at all my campaigns and I could say, show me everything with ad groups greater than 1. So basically ad groups 2 and up. I can quickly see this and be like, okay, I have 15 campaigns with too many ad groups. So highly recommend one ad group per campaign, single ad group campaigns. But again, like all this level of analysis is unlocked here. What about this? What if you want to log in and you want to view your CPC versus VCPM campaign separately? Your cost per click versus your cost per impression campaigns. Again, it's just super fast. We added a whole bunch of filters that just allow you to do this. This is called not budget policy. Cost type. Cost type is, so I can say, just show me my VCPM campaigns, and then you can see how that's performing for you. So I really like that feature.
As you're going through this list, I'm just like thinking like this would be great. How we have the Ad Badger app guide, like this was like it's like a workbook. Like the campaign manager goes in and says, okay, am I actually have I calculated what this should be in my account, and then goes in and just creates the workflows for it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So like they can customize it for their account, for sure. Just sort of taking a look at some other things that we have here. View ad groups with no ad group negatives. Again, negative keywords save you so much money. If you go to view your ad groups, so now I'm looking at all my ad groups. Let me get rid of the old filter that I had there. Again, what a common problem. I want to view my ad groups where there's no negative keywords. So negative keywords equals 0. This will allow you to see your ad groups with no negatives. Again, you can save that filter. That way, the next time I go and do this check in a month or so, it's just sitting there waiting for me. Boom. And next time I log in, I can see all of the ad groups without negative keywords. There's a lot in this staging account.
That would be interesting. I meet with a lot of people that swear that they've just gone in and already negated everything that needs to be negated. They've cleaned it up. They could be missing a lot of stuff, especially if they have a lot of campaigns. So it's like just doing a quick, maybe it's bi-weekly or something for that.
Yeah. Yeah, big time. Let's say you come in here, you're looking at all of your keywords, and you say, show me everything with 30 clicks and no orders. I just want to pause these keywords. So imagine I ran that filter, 30 clicks and no orders. I can just come in here and I can bulk pause keywords. So I can bulk enable things. I can bulk pause them right inside Ad Badger, which is really nice. People don't know that you can do this, but I'm going to jump over. Let's say you're looking at your keywords and you want to view all of your keywords that have a certain word in it. So the keyword contains, in this case, we sort of did it at the campaign level before, but it's like, okay, show me all my keywords that contain the word Emma. Boom, I can like quickly scan through that. There's 46 keywords that have the keyword Emma in it. And I can do the inverse of that. I can say, show me all my keywords that do not contain the word Emma, which is really nice as well. So I'm able to sort of see groups of performance, and I can go scroll through that level of performance in a way that like I couldn't before. So I really like being able to, does it contain it or does it not contain it? You can also play with that. Does it start with, is it exactly, is the keyword exactly that? This happens a lot where you're searching like, let's say you were looking for contains headphones, for example. Contain headphones where you wanted to find headphone, but not headphones. That's
now, can't you do that as well with that magnifying glass next to the filter?
Yeah, yes. So
yeah, it's like another quick way.
In each tool, the magnifying glass does something slightly. So if I type in Badger mug, it's basically contains. So like Badger mug finds Badger mugs with an S. But if I only wanted to find honey badger mug, I can do contains honey badger mug or equals to honey badger mug.
The exact.
Yeah. So what's also really cool, imagine you're looking at all of your keywords, but you only want to view your keywords in a certain portfolio. So I can say, only show me my keywords in one portfolio, or I can say, show me my keywords in 2 portfolios at a time, where I can click add filter, click apply, and then boom, now I'm viewing my keywords in 2 different portfolios. So I can repeat that at the campaign level too. Only show me my keywords that are in a certain campaign, and then I can go select that campaign name from here. Again, what's really cool about Ad Badger is like viewing groups of data in any which way that you want. So
you're you're a cohort commander.
You're a cohort commander. View all your product ads. Oh yeah, this one too. So let's say you go in here, view all your product ads. And again, same kind of thing. Let's say I want to view only all of my product ads that have that. Again, you can come in here and say async contains a certain string and apply that, or I can search for that here. Again, I can also create buckets of performance here. So we didn't touch on product ads, but imagine you have some kind of system where you come in once a month and you view your high ACoS product ads. That kind of thing is really nice, and you can see exactly where these things are performing. A really cool workflow is to go over to your dashboard, into your product performance, see your products here, and it's like, oh, okay, like my total ACoS for this product is 5%. Let me go look at the campaigns that it's performing in, and I could just simply click and go and see those campaigns where that product is performing. So there's a lot of cool bits and pieces to AdBadger's ad manager that really revolve around filters, finding pretty much anything you want to find at any time. So if you want to view all of your product ads, see how all of your products are doing in a certain campaign, you can do that. So it's really viewing your data any which way that you want, and being able to take bulk actions on it, where you're either updating your bids, you're either decreasing your bids, increasing your bids, pausing, negating. We're constantly adding even more columns and bulk actions. I'm already thinking, we should have like a clicks per order section, which divides clicks and orders for people. But we're constantly updating it and improving it, and I dig it. It's a really great way to view your data. It's much faster than I noticed that it's much faster than Amazon starting in 2023. So it's a great time to be in the Badger Den.
And I mean, putting things in cohorts is amazing. Going in, analyzing, maybe saying, here's what I need to do. I should be more aggressive with these. But one thing that you haven't really touched on, but I hear time again and again, is just how good Bids by Badger, the algorithm, is in going in and hitting the objectives of those cohorts.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about it, but it's a huge selling point, if not the biggest selling point of the tool.
Yeah. We optimize like 1.5 million keywords a day really well. So a lot of the cohort stuff AdBadger does and can automate for you. I would say different people like to automate differently. So they might like to not automate, or maybe they only want to automate for one product. And if you wanted to automate for only one product, it's really easy. You can just say, show me all my campaigns. I don't want to automate anything that contains, the word Apple in it. I don't want to automate any of those campaigns. So you can get rid of them and then just turn on Bids by Badger for everything else. Or let's say you wanted to view your performance for your Bids by Badger campaigns versus your non-Bids by Badger campaigns. You can set up that filter too. So we make it really flexible. So like Bids by Badger is off, versus on. So you can get really creative with how you play with these filters. But yes, I would say Bids by Badger is doing a lot of that for you, where it's like, is this a good keyword? Let me bid higher. Is this a bad keyword? Let me bid lower. It's a really smart algorithm. I should do a whole webinar just on the algorithm.
I think so. I mean, that's a huge one. Like you said in the beginning, like all tasks kind of relate back to adjusting bids. And again, the way that the algorithm makes those bid adjustments is just, again, I'm not a PPCer, but I just hear time and time again that, the people that use our tool, they love the changes that it makes.
Yeah. So last but not least, if you're watching this and you're somehow not a member of the Badger Den, I would definitely recommend going here and booking that call. They can book a call with you and learn more about what it is that we do. And if you are an AdBadger customer, I definitely recommend booking a call. These calls are available for you as a member of the AdBadger customer base, where you can book a call with me and the rest of the campaign managers and learn a little bit more about using our tool and get the most value out of it.
And I mean, those things that you're teaching are tool agnostic. I mean, it's crazy, but a lot of these people don't even realize, like, here are cohorts that I need to be looking at and analyzing and optimizing. Yeah. I think a lot of people they're trying to not do the work, but you got to do the work. You got to optimize. I mean, whether you're using software or not.
Yes. Somebody on your team's got to be doing it.
So.
Well, Michael, another month, another webinar.
Yep. Next time we'll be on time.
Oh, yes. Apologies for the technical difficulties. But thanks so much, everyone, for watching, whether you're watching this now on August 14th or later. Have a good one. And I'll
book a call with us.
Yeah.
If you're a client, book a strategy call. If you're not, book a live demo. I can run through some of these and do custom stuff for you, right? We can you tell me, hey, here's the cohort we want to look at. Here's what I want to see in Ad Manager. and we
Mhm.
can go through it, look at it, and see. So book the calls.
Let's do it. All right, everybody, have a good one, and I'll see you inside the Badger Den.